I was halfway through a very heated argument with the office coffee machine. Yes, you can argue with an appliance if you're passionate enough about caffeine, when my boss, Gerald, stormed into the break room. Now, when I say stormed, I don't mean a dramatic movie-style entrance with doors flying open. I mean he banged the door so hard it ricocheted off the wall, nearly hit Karen from accounting in the face, and the poor woman squealed like someone just deleted her Excel formulas. "Ethan, I need you," he barked. His forehead glistened with sweat, his tie was loosened, and he had that manic look in his eyes like he'd just read his own Google search history. For what? "Because if it's for another one of your walk and talks, I need to finish negotiating with this." I gestured at the coffee machine, "piece of overpriced garbage first." No, this is serious." He glanced over his shoulder as if spies were trailing him. "The company is being sued." I blinked. "Like, sued? "Yes. Lawsuits. Lawyers. Courtrooms. People in suits pretending to understand Latin phrases." I sipped my coffee, which had finally decided to cooperate, and said, "Okay, so, call legal?" "That's the thing," he whispered, leaning in. "Our actual lawyer is on a silent meditation retreat in the Himalayas. No Wi-Fi. No phone. No carrier pigeons." "That's oddly specific," I said. "I need you to be my lawyer." I laughed so hard coffee came out of my nose. "Gerald, I'm the marketing guy." "Yes, but you have that look." "That, I can object in a dramatic fashion, look. I also have the knows absolutely nothing about the law except from binge-watching Suits look." "Perfect. That's more experience than I have," he said, grabbing my arm. "We have a meeting in an hour with the opposition's legal team." I stared at him. "Wait, you want me to pretend? As in, impersonate an actual attorney?" "Yes. And before you ask, I've already introduced you as our senior legal counsel in an email chain that includes the CEO." I nearly dropped my cup. "Gerald, you committed fraud in my name. Technically, it's only fraud if we get caught. And we won't. Because you're going to be brilliant." My brain was screaming no, but my curiosity, and my very poor survival instincts, were screaming, "This will be hilarious." So, against all common sense, I agreed. Within minutes, Gerald had me in his office, pulling dusty books from a shelf. "These are for aesthetics," he said, dumping 3 law textbooks from the 80s onto his desk. "You don't have to read them, just carry them into the meeting. People respect books." I put on the only suit I owned, a navy blue number from my cousin's wedding, which still smelled faintly of champagne and regret. Gerald handed me a tie with little gavels printed on it. "Where did you even get this?" I asked. "Amazon Prime. Don't worry about it." By the time we were done, I looked like a man who might know the difference between habeas corpus and a hummus platter. We walked into the conference room. On one side, me, Gerald, and our intern Chloe, who'd been roped in to take notes, but was clearly there to witness the disaster. On the other, 3 actual lawyers, wearing $1,000 suits and faces carved from pure smugness. "Ah, Mr. Brooks," one of them said, shaking Gerald's hand. "And you must be?" "Ethan Daniels," Gerald said with pride. "Our senior legal counsel." I nodded, doing my best to channel Harvey Specter. "Gentlemen," I said smoothly. "Shall we dispense with the pleasantries and get to the matter at hand?" To my shock, they actually looked impressed. The lead lawyer cleared his throat. "Very well. As you know, we are here regarding the breach of contract." "Objection," I said instinctively. The man blinked. "We haven't said anything yet." "I'm objecting preemptively," I replied, leaning back in my chair. "It saves time." I caught Chloe trying to stifle a laugh. That was the moment I realized. I might actually be able to pull this off, if I didn't accidentally land myself in jail first. The first 10 minutes of the meeting went surprisingly well, mostly because I was just nodding at everything and occasionally scribbling nonsense in my notebook like asterisk habeas equals maybe, asterisk injunction equals fancy word for stop it, asterisk smile less equals look smarter. But then the lead lawyer across the table, a tall guy named Whitmore with the kind of jawline you could use to cut bread, leaned forward and said, "Mr. Daniels, what's your interpretation of Clause 14, subsection B of the original contract?" Panic. Pure, uncut panic. It hit me like bad sushi at 2 a.m. I flipped open one of the dusty textbooks Gerald had given me, pretending to find the answer, but I was really just stalling. "Well," I said slowly, "as established in precedent, Clause 14, subsection B clearly falls under the doctrine of implied reciprocity." Whitmore narrowed his eyes. "Implied reciprocity? That's not a legal doctrine." I smiled like a man who'd just been caught stealing but was determined to look charming anyway. "It's a new doctrine. We're pioneering it. Cutting-edge legal theory." To my shock, he actually paused, probably wondering if I was a genius or an idiot, Spoiler, the second one. Right when Whitmore opened his mouth to press further, Gerald accidentally spilled his coffee on the table. Papers everywhere. Chaos. Chloe leaped up to grab napkins. While they were distracted, I leaned over to Gerald and whispered, "What the hell is Clause 14, subsection B?" "No idea," he whispered back. "I didn't even read the contract." "You what?" "This is why you're here." When the meeting resumed, I knew I had two options. 1. Confess that I had no clue what I was doing. 2. Go all in and hope they were too polite to call my bluff. Naturally, I chose option 2. Clause 14b, I said, is unenforceable due to, I pretended to think hard, mutual vagueness. Whitmore frowned. Mutual vagueness. Yes. When both parties are equally unclear about a provision, it cancels itself out. Like, two negatives make a positive. That's not how contract law works. That's exactly how it works, I said with so much confidence I almost believed it myself. In fact, I can cite a case, Daniels vs. Starbucks, 2017. Whitmore, is that, you, me, irrelevant? And then, just when I thought I was toast, one of their junior lawyers leaned over to Whitmore and whispered something. Whitmore's face changed. He looked uncertain. He cleared his throat. "Well, perhaps we can revisit Clause 14b in another discussion. For now, let's focus on the settlement terms." Gerald shot me a look like I'd just walked on water. Meanwhile, I was 99% sure I'd just invented a fake legal principle that accidentally worked. By the time the meeting ended, we'd managed to delay the lawsuit for 60 days, giving Gerald time to get our actual lawyer back from the Himalayas. As we left the room, Gerald clapped me on the back. "Ethan, you're a natural. You should have gone to law school." "I should have gone to the bathroom before this meeting," I muttered. 2 days later, Gerald barged into my cubicle like Kramer entering Jerry's apartment. "Ethan. Bad news. Harold's back." "Who's Harold?" "Our real lawyer." My stomach dropped. I'd spent 48 hours riding the high of my fake legal victory, and now the one man who could expose me faster than my high school gym shorts was walking into the office. Harold arrived exactly how I'd pictured him. Asterisk expensive suit. Asterisk leather briefcase. Asterisk a permanent expression of, "I'm billing you for this." Gerald introduced us. "Harold, this is Ethan. He's been filling in for you." Harold raised an eyebrow. "Filling in?" "Yes," Gerald said brightly. "You'd be proud." He delayed the lawsuit. Harold turned his gaze to me. "How?" I resisted the urge to say, "with pure panic and caffeine." Instead, I muttered, "Implied reciprocity." There was a long pause. Harold blinked. Twice. Then he said the 5 scariest words in the English language. "I need to speak privately." In the conference room, Harold closed the door and sat across from me like we were in a police drama. "Do you have any legal training?" he asked. "No." "Have you ever read a contract?" "No." "Do you know what Clause 14b even says?" I hesitated. "Is it about sandwiches?" Harold stared at me for a full 10 seconds, then rubbed his temples. "Ethan, you're lucky they didn't laugh you out of the building." I leaned forward. "But they didn't. In fact, I think they were scared of me." He sighed. "That's not fear. That's confusion. Sometimes they look the same." Just when I thought Harold was about to roast me into ashes, he leaned back and said, "Actually, maybe you're useful." "Useful?" "People like you can bluff without shame. That's a skill most lawyers lose after law school." Before I could decide if that was a compliment or an insult, Gerald popped in. "Good news. They've agreed to mediation instead of court." Harold smirked. "Looks like your mutual vagueness nonsense bought us time." 2 weeks later, the lawsuit was settled quietly. Gerald got to keep his company. Harold got paid. And me? I got promoted to Special Projects Coordinator, which I'm 90% sure means guy we send to meetings when we need chaos. The best part? Whitmore from the other side sent me an email that said. I looked up implied reciprocity. It's not real. But it should be. And that's how I went from clueless office worker to accidental legal legend, without ever passing the bar, or knowing what the bar even is.